Hello. So I wanted to share something that I love, I've been doing for years now, and some background information of where I came from and why I do what I do. And that involves this beautiful, albeit maybe unconventional combination of food and yoga. Okay. So although I've loved yoga for a long time. My love for Kundalini yoga, which is the specific type of yoga that I practice and I teach, that started in 2015. And it's been a roller coaster of self-discovery ever since, I'll be honest. I think I first heard about Kundalini yoga and meditation from a dear friend, but it wasn't until a really interesting experience, something happened that my interest was really piqued. So so I'll tell you that story. I had been short of breath for a few months prior to this experience, and one night while babysitting, I had a random asthma attack. I mean, truly out of the blue. And it's funny because I was actually reading a Kundalini yoga book at the time of this asthma attack, and I simultaneously remembered my friend mentioning her habit of listening to mantra music. Now, this asthma attack, when I say it was truly random, again, I was literally on the couch reading a book about yoga when all of a sudden I couldn't breathe. So it's not like I was chasing kids up and down the stairs or like, had been exposed to some kind of allergen, like really out of the blue, I couldn't breathe. And so as this idea came into my head, remembering my friend talking about her habit and listening to mantra music, I had an additional thought, which was this asthma was actually an emotional block of all things. And I had the idea to look up mantra music. So I typed in mantra music, literally, mantra music, those were the words, into iTunes. And the very first song that I listened to was called Prana. And as I listened to that short audio clip, the tightness in my chest immediately lifted. And then, yay for synchronicity, right? The very next chapter I read in this yoga book was about prana, which is the breath of life. I can't make this up, guys. I can't. The rest of that night, I would listen to that sample clip of prana whenever I felt short of breath, and it always helped. And so I emailed this friend of mine. You'll never guess what happened. And I told her about this perceived blockage that I had, and she suggested that I try the Antar Nod meditation, or Sare Sasa. And so I read her message the next morning while I was still in bed, and I figured I'd just find a song since it worked so well for me the night before, right? So before I even got out of bed, I found another sample on iTunes and I started listening to it. No sooner had the song been playing than tears started streaming down my face. And the remaining tightness that was in my chest still, wasn't having an asthma attack anymore, but the tightness in my chest immediately lifted. And I've been able to breathe better ever since. And so I started listening to mantra music regularly after that experience. And I would notice when certain songs really resonated with me. I didn't know what the words meant or anything. I just listened to it and was like it spoke to me, right? And I would look up the meanings behind the mantras, and sure enough, it directly applied to what I was struggling with at the time. Whether it was fear or anger or, whatever it might be, those mantras, those songs spoke to me and was what I needed at those times. Excuse me. So I knew that if there was peace to be found in something as simple as playing mantras, then there had to be something to this whole Kundalini yoga meditation business. And I've been consistently meditating ever since, and I continue to listen to mantra music as often as I can when I remember to. I will be honest, there was a period of time, like years, where that was all I listened to. And every time I do get back into that habit, it helps. It really has blessed my life. And I want to be able to teach other people. I wanted to. I taught Kundalini yoga for a while in a studio, and then I kind of backed off, and I've been teaching in other areas, specifically with food and body. And I've just felt this nudging lately to bring the two together and to offer these types of teachings online. So in case you are new to Kundalini yoga, let me give you like an super brief introduction. So according to my teacher, her name is Felice Austin, she says that the sacred kriyas and meditations that make up Kundalini yoga have been preserved for thousands of years. They were handed down through a royal priestly lineage from master to student, but only after the student had proven himself trustworthy. This practice kept the technology from being misused or diluted. And then Yogi Bhajan decided to break with tradition and began teaching Kundalini yoga when he arrived in America in the 1960s. And this spiritual practice helps us, now everyone, to break through our own self-destructive traditions, those own, negative programming, negative self-talk. It helps us break through those so we can arrive at a place of empowered peace. It's beautiful. And it really wasn't until I had discovered and started implementing this spiritual practice of Kundalini yoga and meditation, and really started to embrace the meaning of Sat Nam, which is I am truth, truth is my identity. When I started taking that on and really living from that place of this is my empowered truth, something started to click. Everything I am right here, right now is enough. I started to believe that. I mean, how empowering and how freeing it is to think and to behave from that place. And as I began to shift from a place of judgment to a place of acceptance for myself, I was better able to extend that courtesy to others. Everyone, you included, everyone is doing the best they can with what they have. I really do believe that. There is no good person, bad person. There's just people. We're just us, and that's enough. And all bodies are good bodies. Okay. As soon as I stopped labeling, I was able to stop labeling myself and other people. I started to recognize how often we label the world around us, especially including our food. And eventually I became more and more uncomfortable with the labels that I had once accepted as truth from my social and educational upbringing, which is another story. If you want to know more about my food story, I'll tell you. But once I started to realize that that wasn't my truth, I realized that we aren't fighting a war against obesity. We're telling people that they're bad. And we extend that belief to the food we put in our mouths. It's everywhere. That judgment, that labeling holds us back. It creates blocks. So for example, you take a cupcake, right? Yeah, it's made with sugar and food dye and white flour and all those bad foods, okay? Or bad ingredients, whatever. And when you hold that cupcake in your hand, what do you see? You see bad food. But what if instead of labeling food as bad and therefore ourselves as bad because we want to eat it or because we choose to indulge or whatever, what if we saw things differently? Someone made that cupcake, right? Maybe we know and love the person who made it. And this cupcake was gifted to us. Maybe we don't know the person behind this treat, but I can promise that it came from someone with thoughts and feelings as valid as our own. Perhaps a skilled baker who finds joy in his or her craft, right? Maybe it's from your kids or a teenager who loves to bake. Who knows? And what about the ingredients that went into the making of that cupcake? What about the cashier, the storekeeper, the harvester, the farmer, right? All these people, they're just like us, doing the best they can. They have value. And so does that cupcake. I'm not saying there isn't value in honoring your health with gentle nutrition. I'm not necessarily suggesting that you go and eat pizza all day, every day, although you do you, okay? What I am suggesting is that there is value in pizza simply because it exists. And while it may not always be the best for our physical bodies, because maybe you're allergic to dairy, I don't know, it may be on occasion a great option for our spiritual well-being. Please, by all means, find a wellness program that supports your specific nutritional needs. It's your body, your health, your choice. But as you implement this particular protocol, it's really important that you remember that food is more than just food. It's more than fuel. It's more than energy. It's an experience. Food is more complex than we give it credit for, while still being beautifully simple in its ability to nourish all parts of ourselves. It really is soul nourishing because food can fill or fuel our body and our spirit. It can nourish our soul, our whole self, okay? Our worth as individuals is unchanging. If you were to take a tattered, dirty dollar bill to the bank, they would still accept it as valuable currency. No matter how damaged we are or how processed our food is, there is an inherent value that is worthwhile. And that is what I'm encouraging us to explore, to rediscover, and to embrace as our truth. The truth is, speaking of truth, the truth is that filling our food with harmful and unkind thoughts or feelings is far more toxic than the processed and unhealthy components that make up that food. I really do believe in the beauty and power of Namaste. The light in me recognizes the light in you, and in that tree, and in that rock, and in that cupcake or that pizza. Yes, we can raise our vibration and improve our health by eating whole foods or celebrating our bodies through exercise. There's a variety of ways that we can do that, right? But what if we can believe in ourselves and the perfection of our inner light in such a way that we raise the vibration of the world around us? What if we can heal ourselves by healing our relationship with our food? What if? What would be possible? I really do find joy and meaning in the connection of all things. I'm a deep thinker. That's just how I am. And my belief is that we all come from the same source. My food and I are one and the same because we are a part of a greater whole. From our first breath until our very last, we need food for our survival. And we also need it to enjoy life. We do, because food is more than fuel. It is an experience. And when we allow our food to feed not only our physical bodies, but also our subtle bodies, our spiritual and energetic bodies, we can experience that holistic, greater whole of what it means to be healthy and whole and happy, healthy, whole, holy, right? And I do believe, it's in my opinion, that for lasting health, happiness, and holiness, we need to balance our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. And that is possible through food. I invite you to connect with your food on every level and discover what true health means for you. And if that is something that seems scary or hard or confusing, just know that you're not alone. You're not. Your food choices, your eating habits do not define you. Your size, your shape, your body, your health even does not define your worth. You are valuable. This life is worth living, and we need food in order to do that. And so what would be possible if we could experience more with food and our bodies? It's magic. And so if you need some help or you need some conviction in that, I invite you to join me in changing the way we think and interact and feel about our food and bodies. Whether that means you reach out to me directly and we can have this conversation one-on-one, or you want to try out some food and yoga classes or whatever, I'm here for you because you're not alone and you are enough right now. And so is your food, and so is your body. So let me know if you have any questions, if you need some help and support, I'm here for you. And I wish you the very best. And eat happy. Namaste, fellow eater.